Hey folks, Ace TCG here, and in today's video we have a topping Crocodile, well, blue Crocodile, list that I've been testing out the entire format of OP04. So yesterday was the Liverpool regionals in the UK, and I managed to go X3, so 7-3 on the day. I was X1 going into round 9 and 10, and then unfortunately I lost the last two games, so I haven't been able to make day 2, which is a little bit sad, but at the end of the day it's been a very good weekend for me. On Friday there was also a winner mat / half case tournament in one of my locals, and I managed to take that down with a 32 player cap. So that was another 10 games that I had to play on the Friday as well, and we did manage to take that one with the blue croc. So we do have the nice double mat now for the channel, so for me it's still a very good weekend, still a win, and I'm still very happy with the list. I think I played as well as I could have on the day. There were a few things when you look back in retrospect where you think maybe I could have done these lines, but in round 9 I played against Katakuri and started the game by drawing all of my pacifista blockers, so I couldn't get any of those out in the later game. Also didn't see any red rocks, etc. And then game in round 10 I played red green law, and decided to go second against it because that has been the best thing to do in my practice for it. And he just had all of the answers, so I really can't complain about it. It's been a very good weekend. So we'll do a deck profile for this. And Joe, who frequents the channel a lot, has made day 2, and he's playing Katakuri, so we'll get a deck profile from him, as well as a video breaking down the decks in the top 32 and what takes the day, because I don't know yet. It's going to be cool. But let's get into it. The side of set, I finally managed to get all 10 different variants of these. I cannot wait for now Bandai to like do the Japanese set where you can easily access these, but finally done. I don't have to keep hiding Poo-Poo Don at the bottom, which makes my brain happy. So Croc, if you don't know what Croc does, he has the activate main effect of once per turn, Don -4. You can return one character with a cost of 5 or less to the owner's hand. It does not say opponent, so you can bounce your own cards as well, which doesn't come up often, but actually if you're in a desperate situation it has a few times for me. I think yesterday in like round 5 I Croc affected back a Sasaki because I needed additional counter, and that actually like got me through and won me the game as well. So round 5, maybe round 4, I don't know, I can't remember which one I lost. But yeah, I love Croc. Croc's fantastic. I wish he would be a little bit more impactful next set, but I don't know if he's going to be. Things are going to speed up, but yeah, let's get into it. I've gibbity-gabbed enough. 2Ks, we've got 4 Kaya. Yeah, fantastic. I don't think I need to like go into depth about this. Being able to unplay a 2K and use its effect to like see the cards that you need to hit is really impactful. 4 Sasaki. Similar reasoning behind the Kaya. Sometimes you just like draw your cards, and like you can have decentish cards but not the answers that you need for that matchup that you have, so you can panic button Sasaki, take a bit of your early damage early, and then like redraw 6 cards, so it's like a free mulligan. I hated this card when it first came out, and I've learned to like it more. I wouldn't say love, but I definitely respect it more than I did when it was first revealed. Also, it's useful in some matchups to get a body down, and it being 3/4 to be able to swing into things is critical. And then we have 2 Dracul Mihawk, geez, I couldn't get my words out there, 2k counters from the starter deck as well, and that's our 2ks. 10 2k counters does feel light. It's the lowest amount of 10k 2k counters that I've ever ran in a deck, but it feels fine in this, to be honest, because you usually can lower your opponent's oppressiveness in their attacks due to the fact that you're bouncing everything back to their hand, or bottom of deck, or just saying get out of here. So yeah, up next, blockers. Lots of blockers in this. I still don't have the 4th of this, and this has gone to the moon now, so it's like 65, and like a month ago it was 30, so yeah, I don't think that's happening, but I do have my judge one. Yeah, 4 Dofi blocker. Being able to, you always want to go first with this deck, as like, no matter what you're playing against, usually you want to go first because your curve is stronger than like every other deck in the game. Even the Katakuri matchup, as long as you can see your blockers and your red rocks, you still want to be able to go first, because me hawking a 7-drop is really impactful, and also just me hawking like a pair of Sparrow is also just fantastic. So yes, but Dofi being able to unplay look at the top 5 and restack them in any order is great. Definitely helped me get to my consistency so much yesterday and on the Friday as well. Being able to unplay and then like stack specifically into, because you know what you're going to draw, is really good. And also I run Level of Beam in this list, so being able to stack this to know what you're going to draw from the Level of Beam has kept me alive many a time. And then for Missile Sunday, yeah, card's insane still. Can feel a little bit weaker with some of the removal right now. One of the games, knocked the camera there. One of the games that I lost yesterday was against, let me remember the colours. Is it red purple? Yeah, I think it's red purple. Red purple Law, because they can just bottom deck, which is not ideal for these blockers when they have on KO effects. So yeah, that waters it down a little bit, but it's still a fantastic card in general, especially when you're playing against the likes of yellow. Being able to red rock, swing for 6 with lead, and then play a Missile Sunday to get the red rock back is quite oppressive, to be honest, because it can like stop your opponent from wanting to attack because they know you're going to get the red rock back, so you can save a 1k as well. And then some more blockers is 2 Trafalgar Law from the starter deck. These are one from the gift collection, something collection. I don't know what the name of the collection is, but yes. You may be thinking, why so many blockers? And it really is just because Katakuri is rampant right now. Like, having the option to, if you really need to panic button, play 3 of these and then 1 of these in a turn. And I've done that, and I did that yesterday. Really can just save your life, because it doesn't really matter what they have. And even if they have, like, double Thunderbolt, you're not getting through that. And it can just slow them down, like, hugely. Which is, yeah, pretty cool. So, there's 10 of our blockers. Up next, one of the best cards in the deck is Santu Maru. I managed to pick up my winner cards for these yesterday, which is awesome. He is brilliant. Yeah, it's difficult not to want to play him on turn 3, but realistically, you'll want to be playing him later, so that you can make sure that it's not going to get removed immediately, because the value of just being able to every turn search your deck, get a blocker or a vanilla 6k out is so much pressure. So yeah, definitely 4 of, and then for our pacifistas, it's 3 vanilla 6ks and 2 pacifista blockers. So yeah, this card, like, being able to grab out a blocker is so useful, especially against decks that can like tuck your blockers away, remove your early blockers and stuff like that. So for example, yellow has the Strusens, has the Omanda, whatever the heck its name is, and yes, they have Thunderbolt as well, but it just, you have so many options with this deck, and that's why being able to grab this too. I do genuinely believe I would have run 1 round 9 if I didn't draw both of these. It wasn't necessarily the fact that they bricked into my hand, it was the fact that I couldn't get them back in my deck for the late game with the Santamaru, because if I'd been able to search out the 2 blockers, I had 2 turns where I was Santamaruing out the Pacifista, then yeah, I genuinely do believe I'd have won that matchup. But it is what it is. So that's now 12 blockers, I think, 12 blockers, which is quite a lot, but it's needed because you are quite open to aggro and big large things if you can't remove them. Next up, I'm running 3 Zeph. It's such a weird card to be running in a deck like this, but again, Katakuri's rampant. People are playing green purple Dofi, but more aggressive variants of it, where they're running like the 3-5k vanillas. So being able to on curve turn 3, play down a Zeph and just bounce it back, or bounce back a Nami, or bounce back anything is like super useful. And also, you can do what the Nami decks do, and you can play your Kaya early if you need to fix your hand a little bit, and then you can Zeph it, which is still pretty darn tasty. Also, it's a 6k body, which is very, very important for this, because you need some aggression, because you can lack a little bit of aggression with this deck. It's really important that you're taking your time and thinking about when it's time to start going for life. Next up, 3 Soga King. Yeah, card's still fantastic. I was running 1 Dofi alongside this, but I don't think it's necessary, and the Soga, because it doesn't have counter, the Soga King having counter and being able to bounce back Katakuri's, Randolph's and Perospero's is super fantastic on curve. it's, yeah, a really fantastic way to slow them down. So when they go into that line, which they do often if they've never played against the deck, you're really just super far ahead. 4 Dracoon Mihawk. I've saw some lists dropping down to 3 of this, but it's literally the best blue card in the game currently. So yeah, 4 is mandatory. It's so good. On play, on your 9 Don turn, bottom deck as 7 cost or less is ridiculous. Even now, like even though I still only went X3, this is, yeah, I still think this deck is really, really solid, and it definitely caught a lot of people off guard yesterday. I got a lot of fist bumps for cool. I think one guy had said like cool points at one point. So yeah, really fun. And super nice. I think my light just went off there, so I'll just bring it back. And then the last of our big bodies is the 10-drop Kaido. I'm running 2 of this because we want to go first. It's awkward to play this, to be honest. I was really tempted to drop this, but I wanted more bodies. I don't know what I would have dropped it for, to be honest. Maybe more blockers, maybe more events. I don't know. Maybe another Soga King. I don't know. It's weird. I don't think I played this yesterday. I'm not gonna lie. And like, I don't actually know if I played it the day before either. So in 20 games, I don't think I played a Kaido. And that's just because like it's super awkward with your curve, and by the time you get around to having 10 Don, they've usually played something that Kaido can't reach. And one of the only decks that it's super like impactful against is the green purple Dofi, because they play down the Luffy and then like a Nami or a 3/5 vanilla, or they just have something, and you can just bounce them back and then be able to get your swings through. Basically, you just get like a free turn, and then you have a 12k body, which is the biggest reason why we run it. Is a lot of decks just can't deal with a 12k body, and it is super nice to have when you need it. But in retrospect now, I don't know if I take it out. I think honestly it's in there because a lot of other decks were doing it, and it did come up sometimes in my testing. But again, if it didn't come up in 20 games, maybe that's where you start looking at, maybe that should be dropped. Next up, we look at our events. I'm running 2 Level Up Beam. I think this is the best defensive event in blue. People have started rotating towards the 0 cost event, and I do think that's solid, because you do often have a lot of bricks in your hand, and it's nice to be able to counter, but also losing 2 cards from your hand to stop one attack is super painful. And Love does the opposite of that. It stops one attack with a 1 card, and you plus, so you don't really lose anything from stopping an attack, which is kind of what you need in this sometimes. And yeah, I'm always at 4 cards when I have this, because you're using your resources. The deck doesn't have that many draw cards. I mean, that many. It has no draw cards, so you're able to proc the Love very often, and you can loop this with Missile Sunday. I had a game on the Friday where I used 3 Love mellows in a turn, because I only run the 2, but I'd used 1, Missile Sunday to get it back, used 1, and then drew into the other Love mellow and then used 1, and I knew the other one was there because I had Dofi'd earlier, and it just stopped me from being KO'd, and he definitely thought he had game. So yeah, really, really useful, and I like it right now. I don't think I'd drop it. I think it's too impactful in certain matchups. 3000 Worlds at 3. I don't think still I would boost this to 4. I do think it's a fantastic card, and maybe going into the next set, if I'm still on the blue croc train or switching to a blue deck, I might switch it to 4, depending on how many 5 cost or less cards there are to be playing into the meta. And then the last cards in our deck is Gum Gum Red Rock. This card is still, I know it's been said so much, but it's just insane. Really, really strong. Being able to answer stuff is like so good. In that 9, like, I know I keep mentioning it, I'm not salty. maybe slightly. But in the 9th game, in the 9th round yesterday, I didn't manage to see any of these against the Katakuri, and if I did, obviously that completely changes the game, and it's our answer to those big bodies, and it's the reason that you can actually play Blue Croc right now, because before OP04, we didn't have an answer to all of the big bodies, and it made it really difficult for you to be able to survive out into the late game, because although Mihawk's fantastic, it doesn't help you with dealing with 2 10-drop big mamas. Yeah, that's the list. As much as I've mentioned the losing that I did yesterday, I also think I won out a lot of the games, because I've been practicing this the entire set. If you still have time left before we go into OP05, I would definitely suggest taking a look at the deck. I think it's super strong right now and it's definitely underrated. It's quite difficult to pilot because you usually have so many darn options, although it can sometimes feel like when you're playing against it, it's unga bunga because it's just like 5 drop into 7 into 9 and then bottom. But sometimes when you do that, you just auto lose. So you need to make sure that you're taking some time and learning it. But yeah, that's the list. I am super happy with the weekend in general. Really happy to be getting this double mat now for the channel, so you're going to be seeing this a lot more in the versus videos. And yeah, like I mentioned at the start of the video, we'll get Joe's deck profile, and then I am also going to do a review of the top 32 decks that are in the Liverpool region coming up this week. So thanks very much for watching, and I hope you have a great day. Peace.